air conditioning on a 1990 B&W 318i. I think it was 318i. Let me double check. Yep. And on this one, it got a new compressor because the clutch bearing went out on it. And I went away. I put it on the vacuum pump. And we have been going down between, it's been popping around, but as you can see, it's going down as low as 69 microns. And then a little bit of moisture or trapped refrigerant in the oil bubbles out. And it goes up to the 170 micron, then back down to 168. And this is we can say a virgin R12 system that has not been touched or molested by an auto body shop that converted it over to 133. It was R12 originally. It has no POE oil. It has no mineral oil. It is still, it has mineral oil. It has no POE oil or no PAG oil. So it does not have an extremely hygroscopic oil. This is why it's so easy to get all the way down here to, and let's zero in, down to something like 69 microns. You can do that really, really easy with mineral oil. So he's getting a new receiver dryer because he didn't, I noticed that, he did not change the receiver dryer or the pressure switch. And I told him when we take this receiver dryer off, we're gonna cut the bottom of the receiver dryer and look for rust on the inside. If there is rust on the inside of the receiver dryer, you replace the expansion valve, because the rust chips away and falls and peels off the side of the inside of the receiver dryer. It falls to the bottom, it gets picked up by the pickup tube for the liquid refrigerant, and that transfers the rust particles to the expansion valve. So without even flinching, he ordered a new receiver dryer. And here's the new, you always change the pressure switch. Do not reuse the pressure switches. And just in case, he got the new expansion valve. And so we are set to go. If there's any hiccups and we find that the inside of the receiver dryer is dirty, he's automatically gonna change the expansion valve in on this vehicle. I'll use the CYT program and I'll see the cost of components and estimate on labor on this, and we'll see what the problem was. And I'll show you what the compressor, here was the problem. So the bearing went out, as you can see. The bearing went out on the compressor, and so it wobbled, and the old compressor wobbled, and it took out, as you can see, it munched up the fuel coil. So the fuel coil got, oh, he still has one here. It ate up the fuel coil, and I told him that you have a blown fuse now, because anytime they ground out the fuel coil, blows the fuse. So we noticed that was missing. So this vehicle was purchased used, and that fuse was missing, so he replaced the fuse. So somebody already knew there was a problem and they pulled the fuse out. The compressor came with this clutch on it for another BL, and you can see it has clutch material. It's almost like brake material. You actually could see brass and tin metal shiny flakes inside that. That's literally like clutch band material on your brakes or on your transmission bands. If we could look at that really close. Come on, focus. Come on, Apple. You can do it. Apple doesn't want to focus. There we go. So do you see any of the shiny little specks of gold? That's bronze. Bronze is an excellent lubricant, high temperature, and it bites. But so it got changed over to a V-belt type, and I am a little bit concerned on his clutch gap. I hope that turns out not to be a problem. So we'll get back to this after he replaces the new parts. But as you can see, if you've seen all my other videos, when doing a vacuum, it's really hard to get down here like this. And getting down this low, down into the 60s for a car, is usually only achievable on a system that has mineral oil in it, or an extremely brand new clean R134 system or R1234 system that is in pristine condition, not exposed to atmosphere. All right, we'll get on from here, and I'm gonna look up the parts on CYT, and since not CYT, this one, CYTK. So we have CYTK, and I'll scan the VIN number of this B&W, or I already scanned the VIN number of this B&W, and we'll go over that next on parts. That'll be in the next video. See you in the next video on pricing on labor and parts.